So Nexon finally emerged from their cocoon, and like a beautiful butterfly, they finally announced slash teased the season pass everyone was hoping for, and in a huge surprise announcement that the grand balance patch they had been teasing would be dropped immediately following the presentation. This, of course, immediately kicked off a surge of players who came back to the game, and as of right now, it's over 1,000 players. We'll see how many of these players stick around for the next week or month, but as somebody who's been following the game since its release and seen the kind of slow decline, I gotta say it feels great. So let's talk about this big balance patch. And before we do, I'm just gonna be honest with you guys. Every character got changes, but I don't play every character. I don't even play two characters. So I'm going to talk about the Berserker changes and what effect I think they're going to have, as well as what changes were actually made to the character. So to start with, let's take a look at the changes that everybody got. Reduced recovery on dodge. A lot of people have been talking about this, but basically roll is now frame 1 invulnerable, which is going to make a lot of difference in getting out of people's strings. It's really hard for me to look at this and kind of think about exactly where it can apply, but basically it means that if you're playing the game, you might want to start spamming roll to see which areas you can kind of roll out of and get away from. It's not going to be as strict or punishing as it used to be. We've also got some adjusted recovery on guard cancel, and I can tell you I've already seen this with guard canceling against Striker as Berserker. Previously, when you guard canceled, if she immediately did shoulder check, you could counter it with 2A and go into a combo. You can't do that anymore. It's more plus now. So there's probably other areas where this is going to apply, but I think it really just means that more characters have better guard cancels now, and there's not going to be as much counterplay if you get hit with a guard cancel. And finally, kind of just a quality of life change, airborne MS skills will adjust the opponent immediately after performing the skill. Basically, and this happened quite a bit on Berserker, if you would do your jump M, which is the blood splatter, it wouldn't autocorrect, and so now that's going to be a little bit more consistent. It actually wasn't that big a deal on Berserker because it actually has a little bit of a hitbox behind him, but on other characters it could be a big problem. Alright, now we're on to the Berserker changes. So Berserker got an additional 30 HP. This is actually kind of a nerf based on how much HP other people got, and I think you can kind of see where they wanted to take power from, and they clearly saw Berserker as a top tier, which he is. He's definitely a top tier character before, and I think he got some other good buffs too to compensate, so I'd still say he's a top tier character. But he did only get 30 additional health. Other characters got more health. For guard gauge, everybody got an additional 150, so everybody's guard gauge is quite a bit better. This is going to make some of the guard break strings a lot harder to do against him. The one I'm thinking of in particular is the triple gunhawk string that Ranger would do often, but there's a couple of other things that are going to be harder to do. Striker in particular might be hit by this. Okay, so this one is actually a huge buff. Awakening effect has been adjusted to recover HP with the existing white damage intact. Previously, as Berserker, you had to be really particular when you put yourself into Awakening because you would recover so much health from your Awakening passive, which is Lifesteal, that you would stop being able to use conversion. So like a standard 5S, 4S into 6M, which is the slash into the jumping slash into the blood orb, would recover so much health you would not be able to do a conversion into another string, and that is no longer the case. Now, no matter what, even if you're Awakening, if you do a move, if you're in Frenzy, you can conversion out because you're constantly killing yourself and gaining white health, and you're not regaining that white health. You're just gaining extra health on top of it. So this is a big buff for Berserker because it means even when he's in Awakening, he's going to basically be able to do full optimal strings only based on his amount of mana and not based on his amount of health. So additional hit stun on JA, I don't know honestly exactly what this will do. There's already some rejump routes with JA, particularly on a DP punish, where you can jump up, do JABS, and then catch them on the ground again with 5B. Maybe this will open up new routes. I'm not exactly sure what this will look like for Berserker, but I'll be interested to see what some people come up with. Ghostlash has an expanded hitbox and increased knockdown time per hit while airborne. This might open up new combo routes, but what I really see it doing is it'll just make it easier to land the Ghostlash into Frenzy Activate, into JM routes that a lot of Berserkers are already pretty good at. It might narrow the timing a little bit or expand the timing a little bit to make it a little easier to hit. Expanding the hitbox is actually great because you really had to hit somebody at the absolute top of the arc before on your S into 4S to actually get them with the suck afterwards, so this might make it a little bit more forgiving. 2S can now be jump canceled, so this is a big one actually. Previously, there was a lot of routes where you could 2S into Gorecross into JB, and now you don't actually even have to Gorecross, you can just 2S JB, and that's really helpful because it was difficult if you weren't in the corner to get 2S Gorecross JB and then to connect properly with dive kick afterwards. Now you can just do 2S JB JS into dive kick, and it will connect every time. So it's quite a bit easier to hit that, and it's much better mid-screen option. So Ash Fork is dive kick. The second hit can connect against knockdown opponents. I've seen a couple of combos with this, and I've messed around with it a little bit. Maybe somebody will figure something cool out with it. All I've really seen so far is that you can do it into Blood Orb and then start doing your Frenzy 5S into JM loops. I don't know what else it's used for. I tried a lot to try to get it to connect with 5AA or 5B, and I really couldn't do anything with it. So I'll be interested to see what else this is used for. But in terms of command grabbing somebody and then picking them back up with dive kick, it's not hugely beneficial, it doesn't look like. So Raging Fury is your DP, and the last hit launches the opponent higher. This is just a straight up buff because it's going to make you less negative when you hit somebody with DP. Previously, when you launch somebody, it's not very long. So in a lot of cases, it might not immediately be your turn again, depending on who you're playing against. But now if you DP somebody off you, you're going to have a little bit more time. So that's always good. Bloodlust is your command throw. So Bloodlust and Bloodlust during Frenzy. Regular Bloodlust reduce the recovery upon hit and increase the knockdown time. And during Frenzy, it's increased even more. So the only use that I've seen for this, in addition to more Oki, because it actually is a lot better to command throw somebody than to throw them if you can get away with it, because it's more startup frames. Because regular throw has terrible Oki, but command throw is quite good. So previously you could always command throw into Awakening Super if you were in Frenzy. Now you can actually do it into dive kick, and it's definitely more damage, so it's a better combo option if you have it, but it doesn't seem great. I haven't seen a really good combo for it yet, but obviously the patch just came out, so you know, I stand to be corrected here. So that's it. Those are all the changes. Again, if you want to see changes for other characters, just Google DNF Duel patch notes, and I'm sure you'll find 3 or 4 people explaining them at least. But I really just wanted to stick to what I could feel confident in, and the only character that I really know well is Berserker. So if you like this video, like and subscribe, and I'll post more stuff about the patch as it comes out. If I find any cool combos or anything like that, I'll be sure to put it up here. Thanks, catch you guys next time.